Mike Eller, yeet or no
Yeet.
yeet? Yeet. Oh,
Yeet.
that was, you even let me get it out. That was a quick one. Yeet.
Yeet.
Yeet. All right. So, Mike Eller. Oof, this is an interesting match for sure. It's like this thing kicked off right after SummerSlam, and they had the hot angle. Jey Uso quit SmackDown, and then he was kind of fought with Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes in a while just to kind of establish himself on the Raw brand, keep himself away from Jimmy. And Jimmy's really just been like the third in the bloodline and a very amusing, fun, joke of a character. Kind of that's the quick synopsis before we kind of dive into how we got here. But overall, I'm looking forward to this match, Mike. How about you?
I am. I was a little bit worried. I've been thinking about it a lot. I was a little bit worried that Jimmy was maybe too much of a joke, like
Yeah.
where he's just doing jobs, just kind of the comedic guy that Roman gets mad at. I thought the Royal Rumble, going 1-2 was cool, but it didn't necessarily like set it up. But they've built a decent amount of heat for this. The promo's been good. I think this has been some of Jay's best promo work lately, just kind of doing a really good job as a babyface and kind of selling the angle, with this being his big brother beating, he's 5 minutes older than him or whatever. So I'm invested in it. I think it's a really good mid-card feat. So I'm excited. How about you?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for it. I think it's good. WrestleMania and brothers or real life brothers have a pretty good history with the heels kind of taking a shine to it. Owen defeating Brett, of course, at 10, and then Matt Hardy defeating Jeff at 25. So I kind of like how these round, unique numbers of 10 and 25 and 40 have these brothers feuds. So that's a kind of a thing that I just realized that's pretty cool.
That is cool. 10, 15 years apart each year.
Yeah, that's very cool. So, of course, the Owen match was an absolute grand slam, and the Jeff match and Matt match was rather good. I think that the expectation for this one is rather high. I think the investment's there. I would put this early on night one and just let it simmer and let them go out there and cook.
Yeah, I would let it go like at least 15 minutes, right?
Oh, absolutely, for sure. All right, let's just kind of dive right into it. So there's a lot of angles that could be coming out of it just based on how we got here. Of course, Jay was facing Roman Reigns in this main event of SummerSlam in Detroit. We were both there, and it was a good match. It wasn't a home run. It was a little bit long, a little bit disappointing, a little bit masturbatory in a way we would say. But the finish came when just didn't want to see his brother outshine him, or just didn't want to see his brother be the head of the table because it saw what happened to Roman. And he loves him so much that he just wanted to keep him close to himself, or he didn't want him to turn into Roman Reigns. So there's a lot of cute, like, substance there of brotherly love, of course. And then Jay was just like, I can't believe you did this to me. We both left the bloodline. We went on this journey together. We were going to rise to the top, and then you cut my head off before I got to the top. I wanted to be the head of the family, and I wanted to be the WWE Universal Champion. And, pretty much fuck you, I'm out. And then quits SmackDown. And then Cody Rhodes has a Grayson Waller effect where he brings Jay back into the fold. And then Jay is a Monday Night Raw member roster. And then they go on to win the Raw SmackDown tag team titles for about a month, 3 weeks, whatever. And, I like that Jay went out and had success in a tag team with the Bloodline's perhaps biggest nemesis in Cody Rhodes. And we'll see if that has a factor too as we play with this through line of a WrestleMania card. Overall, Jay's had some great success on Monday Night Raw, but his greatest success was going to come winning the Intercontinental Champion when Jimmy presented himself again and cost Jay the match by ringing the bell and taking the Intercontinental Championship win away from him. So that's twice that Jay was going to go on to have solo success, and Jimmy prevented him. So is there enough juice in this loving feud, but is it wonky where it's just like, obviously they're going to get together one day? And where is the investment? I'm a little bit worried that the crowd, well, if they go early in one night, it's going to help. But I'm a little bit worried that the crowd isn't going to fully invest because the story, perhaps, I don't want to say it's forceful, but it was hot coming out of SummerSlam. But then they were like, well, let's do it at WrestleMania because it's our dream. So it's just like, well, I guess, like I alluded to earlier, Jay went on and established himself to be a pretty big superstar, and Jimmy just seems like a tier or two below, but that's okay but does it have the potential juice that it had coming out of SummerSlam?
I think it might have more than like the 2 weeks after SummerSlam because I didn't really like what they did after SummerSlam. Because Jimmy was like the first to leave the bloodline, and then all of a sudden he's back in the bloodline, and he's kind of just like a lackey. But the more and more I think about it, the more and more I do like it because it goes back to even the beginning of this very story with the bloodline back in September 2020, where Jay has his beliefs. Jay is like rooted in his beliefs. Like when he is wanted to beat Roman Reigns in those Hell in a Cell matches, like he legitimately wanted to do it. When he was finally joined the bloodline, he was rooted in it. He finally took the side of his brother, and when Jay decided to leave the bloodline, his convictions are so much stronger than Jimmy, who is just like, oh, I'll be in the bloodline, whatever works best for him, like
Yeah.
whatever gives him the best chance at doing something. So I like that aspect where I like that, like you have one guy so strong in his convictions, another guy who's just around for a good ride. I think it's going to be awesome.
Okay, so you got enough juice there. I definitely see the potential where they would get there. I'm a little bit worried that we kind of get into that like masturbatory category again, where we get into the super kicks, and they don't really have the crowd as they build this match because the story. I don't want to say there's holes in the stories, but the story was stretched a little bit.
Hmm.
So I'm feel that maybe the anticipation may have perhaps dissipated, but I hope not, because these guys can go out there and absolutely kill it. And we talked about the history of brothers going off at WrestleMania and killing it. So I don't know. I'm pretty good. Mike, I'm going to ask you the first question right away. Who's
Okay.
winning this match?
All right. I think it's Jimmy. I think he
You think
needs
it's
it
okay?
more.
So, but I asked you, and you said yeet. But now you're no yeet.
I changed my mind.
You changed your mind. All right. I actually agree with you. Why do you think Jimmy needs this more?
Because Jay can go. Jay's fine. Jay's gonna go, and after Raw, I think he could do an Intercontinental title feud if that's around. He has enough juice to feud with other guys on Raw. With Jimmy, this would bring him up a level. We're gonna see where the bloodline goes in general after WrestleMania, but this would give Jimmy some cachet, legitimacy. Like if Roman is to lose at WrestleMania, Jimmy can say, "Well, I won my match. I did my job." Um,
Opposite of last year. That was the riff last year.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, what do you think? Why do you pick Jimmy?
I think it's Jimmy because I don't think it's over. Right? I think
Okay.
he gives Jay more of an edge, gives Jay a reason to perhaps help in the main event of night two, help either one. Well, maybe that's for the other podcast, but yeah, I just think that it gives Jay more of an edge. Of course, it would give Jay a happy moment or whatever, but I don't think that's needed right now. Like you said, I think he's going to be okay, and I think it's more of an interesting story coming out if Jimmy were to win, and perhaps Jay has a chase. Last night on SmackDown, they announced that Solo would be facing Jay at SmackDown next week to kind of soften them up too. So there's a little bit of a story with that also. So the mercenary Solo Sokoa is going to go weaken Jey Uso, his brother, for his other brother Jimmy, at orders of Roman Reigns. May that happen to play into the main event, so to speak. We'll see. Yeah, I think Roman Reigns is taking more of a head of a table role heading into this Mania. As The Rock was ordered by Roman to go take out Cody, and Solo was ordered by Roman to go take out Jay before Jimmy
Mhm.
cleans him up at WrestleMania.
Right.
So something's going on with Roman, and I don't know if this ties into it, but I think Jimmy winning ties into it a little bit better than Jay winning at this time.
That's a good point. And you mentioned like you think it's continuing. Do they do another one at SummerSlam then, or would you just do it right back at Backlash?
Yeah, Backlash, maybe even blow off at SummerSlam. Of course, these are done in threes.
Yeah.
You get your win back on on a high point on a SmackDown when April is needing of a big match. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? On a SmackDown to pop some buzz, and then maybe there's a draft and they end up on the same brand. They have a blow off because eventually these guys are going to come back together, of course, because the root of this feud is that they love each other. And
Mhm.
even that Raw promo 2 weeks ago where he's like, "I fucking miss you, man. I miss
Mhm.
you. I miss the car rides. I miss you having around. We got to do this because we got to do this to settle the score. But overall, I just miss you." I think that was really good. Or was really touching and a great because of course these guys are going to come together eventually. And I thought that was just much needed in this feud to kind of get us to what we're fighting for and what we're potentially going to get to also. So perhaps that love may cost him at WrestleMania when the time comes, right?
Yeah.
You know, think Roddy Piper didn't using the not using the bell on Brett at WrestleMania 8,
Yeah.
or or think WrestleMania 39 main event where Solo came in and that and spiked the fuck out of him.
Right.
So yeah, I can definitely see this lining up where Jey is weakened leading in, emotionally and physically, of course. And then I feel that that makes him vulnerable. I'm surprised that we both picked Jimmy because you would think on paper Jey should win.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's the bigger star right now by miles. But again, I think you nailed it. It's gonna probably be multiple matches, and I I just really strongly believe that Jay's okay if he loses, at least at
Yep.
Mania.
Yeah, he has so much equity built into him that he's totally fine. All right, out of 10, how exciting are you for this match?
I'm kind of high on it. No, so exclusive. I guess I'll give it here. My wife is pregnant, and in
Whoa!
September she is due with twins. So I am pretty. I don't know. Now that I guess I'm going to be a dad of twins in the next 4 months.
What what a reveal! Oh, breaking news here on the nose. So that's awesome. Congrats, buddy.
Thanks. So I've just been really into it. So I don't know. Like once I found that out, this storyline somewhat just more appealed to me, I guess. So I think I'm gonna go 8. I initially was probably like a 6.5, 7, but right now an 8.
Yeah, I'm about a 6 right now. I think I can maybe perhaps get there. Here's the thing: when they throw that video package up and you see all the storyboards get in there, you're gonna be like, "All right,
Yeah.
yeah, this is well built." It just feels like, all right, they delayed it or whatever. So I'm about a 6, which is good, and then 8 is greatly anticipated. So you're in, you're ready to go, and you're ready for it. All right, what day do you see this on? Night 1 or night 2 of WrestleMania?
This one, I'm more sure of Jimmy winning than this. I think I go night 1. I don't know if I open with it. I was thinking maybe like I don't know. Is a ladder match on night 1? Did they announce
I
that
don't think
yet?
it is. I
Okay.
don't think it is.
I would go ladder match first, Jimmy and Jay second. I think you
Yeah,
could build it.
I open with this because we're closing night 1 with the Bloodline, and we're closing night 2 with the Bloodline, and we're probably opening night 1 with maybe Drew. So
Yeah.
I like the whole thread of it all. Or I would open with Becky and Rhea.
Oh,
But I
that's
don't
a
know.
good
I would
call.
make that. I'd probably make in retrospect now that I think about it more. I'd make Becky Rhea night 1 semi main, and then I would open with this. Mostly because I like the idea of Jey Uso going in there right away, perhaps 24 hours right after facing Solo Sikoa, or even 22 hours after facing Solo Sikoa. If it closes SmackDown and then it opens night 1 of WrestleMania, he makes him a little bit more vulnerable, kind of plays into the story that we told heading into this match. I'm ready for it. And I think starting early on night 1 will help this match because you'll have the crowd, where I am a little bit worried about the crowd investment of this match.
If you put it like fourth out of 7 or fourth out of 6, I think you'd be in some trouble.
Yeah, because you've already had the car crashes, you've already had a few big matches, you probably had the Gunther match already, and then now you're looking ahead to the other 2 main events. Yeah, you're in a
Yeah.
tough spot with that one. So yeah, that's a rough spot. Good call. My last question: will these 2 guys be involved of the night 2 main event of WrestleMania?
Yes. Jimmy is going to obviously interfere, and I think Jay is going to be part of Cody's. I don't know what do you call him, his dudes with attitude, or his like from with
These
Sting, or
Avengers.
his Avengers. Yeah, Cody's Avengers. You're not a comic book guy, so I didn't want to go there. But,
I got
uh,
a baseline understanding of what that was. I am definitely not a comic book guy.
I like that. I think they'll both interfere. I think Jay takes out Jimmy when they're all brawling. I think it's going to be bloodline rules matches. But I don't want to spoil that.
Well, speaking of comic books, when Roman snapped his fingers, whatever,
Yeah.
Thanos did that, and then no one came. I think that's kind of maybe what we'll get at the very tail end of it. But I think Usos, Jimmy and Jey will be the first wave of kind of run-ins, the first act of the movie, let's so to speak. Because I think that shit's going to be a movie in the main event of WrestleMania 40. So yeah, I definitely see them coming in and inserting themselves into the main event in either way, and perhaps wild card maybe Jimmy and Jey align then after the dispute. You never know too. I
Yep.
wouldn't rule that out also.
I would dig it.
Cool. All right, Mike. Cronoso, is that what you got going on lately?
Yeah, yeah. Looking forward to. I know we're still in 1989 with Cronoso. I've been off a couple of them because we've just been so loaded, but I'll be back soon.
This is a warning shot. I know
Yeah.
you have Worcester, Massachusetts coming
Yeah,
up.
I do.
And you don't want to do it. You want to do Worcester, Massachusetts justice in this arena and landscape report. So that's a warning shot to you, Mike Eller.
It's gonna be my best one.
Okay. Acceptable. All right. Good.
I promise.
It better be your Picasso. I'm not an art guy either. But
Picasso of my arena landscapes. Yes, yeah, for sure.
Awesome. All right, guys. Check out Cronoso and check out the next one. Mike, thank you. Thank you as always.
You're welcome. Good seeing everybody.
And congratulations on the fantastic news.
Thank you. I think. Still processing, but thank you. I appreciate it.
Woo.